6 feet.
Welcome to 6 Feet Podcast. I am McKenna Pope.
And I am Whitley Smith.
So, Whitley, what do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
Maybe I should do the subject because I'm the host, you know?
Give me the mug.
No, I'm the host. What's wrong with you?
I'm the host.
No, I am.
What are y'all doing?
What?
This is not how... I told you just to stay in the over there. Okay, come on. Move. Go. Did he? Is it? Go. Go. Get out of here. What? No. Is it? Can someone let us know next time when we're in the middle of a game of checkers, please?
Ben.
Why did you let them start?
Y'all were playing. I didn't want to interrupt y'all, so I just had to get.
It's checkers, Ben.
I had to
It's not like it's
I had to get
chess.
someone to get up here.
This is amateur hour. Wow. Rough start.
Yeah. Way to go. Thanks a lot, Ben. All right. Well, I'm DJ Pope. I'm the host of 6 Feet Podcast. Thanks for joining in.
And I'm Jacob Smith, also your host. Thank you.
Definitely. I see that you got the special guest shirt I sent you.
Hosts.
All right. I'm the host. My special guest, Jacob, as always, and Ben off screen. We got the Ben cam so that you guys can see him. Don't forget that you can chat live with Ben on YouTube or Facebook Live, either one. Just put the chat in there. He's in both of them, responding back and forth. So if you have any questions during the show, anything that just comes through your mind from our topic or just something to Live's questions that you need answered, just go ahead and drop that in the chat. Ben controls those, and he pushes those to us when we get to our viewer questions section. We got a good show, I think, lined up for you. I'd love to start off with a water, though. Ben, if you can get a water to me over
And there's
here.
no waters
Thank you.
either.
I
This
appreciate
is
it.
real rough start.
I don't know if we can recover from this.
I'm sure y'all can.
As co-host, I believe that we will.
Okay. Oh, I can't. Okay. This is going to be rough all the way around. Well, today we do have a competition that we're going to try to delve into today. And today the competition is going to be U.S. cities. So the way this works is Ben is our referee / scorekeeper. I continue to think that that's a bad idea, but he's going to keep the score. And so our job is to try to fit into regular conversation as many U.S. cities as possible within the midst of our show, and we'll find out who the winner is. And that's all going to come to you live from Burleson, Texas. And so, go ahead and put that one down, Ben. Put that one down. It's 1-0 to nothing. I just want the record to show that. All right, so today we are going to move into our topic time. And our topic today is standing in the gap, okay? Thank you. All right. Are standing in the gap, all right? The gap. And see, here's the gap, and we want you to stand right here, okay?
So you got you standing in.
Yeah, and so really the premise of this is, really taking on a responsibility for someone maybe when they don't deserve it or when they need it most, okay? And so taking on either heat of a situation or really in this case, what came to my mind is two stories that we see in the Old Testament involving Moses in both of them, all right? Moses, I think, was a classic stand-in-the-gap figure in the Bible because he leads the Israelites out of Egypt. He does some amazing things. Well, this group of people, all right, that he has, all right, the Israelites, as they're trying to march to the Promised Land, this was supposed to be an 11-day journey from Egypt to the land of Canaan that God was taking them to.
But they took a little bit longer.
Just a tad. Try 40 years worth of wandering in the desert. Why, you ask? Why, you ask? Why, you ask?
I didn't, but I will. Why?
Because they complained, and God basically said, not going to happen in your lifetime. All right, Not in your lifetime, Israelites.
That's an abrupt, like, that's a very strong response.
Yeah. No, it was after a series of complaints by them.
Yeah.
Not to mention some idol worship kind of sprinkled through there. Some attempts to overthrow Moses, their leader, who God said he is your leader.
Who literally led them out of Egypt and parted the sea.
This is what I don't understand, okay? You're running from an army, all right? Bad news army, okay?
Huge army. Biggest army in the world.
Yeah, biggest army in the most powerful force in the world. I think, I don't know, maybe you can go check out the Aztecs or the Incas or something. But on this side of the world at the time, they are on that side of the world and at the time, they were the biggest. They're chasing after them, the army, going to bring them back. They get to this big sea, all right, the Red Sea. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Hold up. Let me just stop you there just to illustrate your point. We're not talking, going from Fort Worth, Texas to Dallas, Texas. We're not talking, Rockwall, Texas to Longview, Texas.
I don't even think he's getting it over there.
We're not talking about that type of distance. We're talking much further distances being covered here. So
it alarms me that Ben isn't messing with the pen at all right now.
Ben hasn't even written anything. I bet you at the end of this, I'll have 7, won't I, Ben? Won't I?
Right at the end, you'll still have 7.
Somebody go back through the tape and you'll see he's always said 7 or 8.
Wait, hold on.
He doesn't get out of that range.
How many quotes did you just make?
I'm pretty sure it was 4.
4. All right.
Probably.
It was 4.
I'll hold you to it.
Okay. Instant replay review.
4. And after I like getting so many so quickly makes me really happy. Texas.
I don't even think Happy Texas is actually.
That's another city in
I don't
Texas.
think that's a movie.
No, that's a city in Texas. There's a city in Texas called Happy Texas.
You know, also a city in Texas, Paris. Paris is in Texas.
Okay, well now you're just saying.
Anybody can do that, Ben. Oh, you want to know another city in Texas? Texarkana, Texas. Oh, you want to know a city beside Texarkana? It's New Boston, Texas. Write them down, Ben. Write them down.
And we need listeners to be keeping score, okay? We need you guys to keep score because
side, all right?
Ben needs some accountability. This is unacceptable how far we have gotten off course with
delving into the oblivion.
Bogus numbers.
We're all the way in
No.
Don't even do it.
Don't you dare.
You even do it. Let's get back on our topic. So standing in the gap. Okay, there's my train of thought. I grabbed it. And so they get to the Red Sea, fairly big body of water. Okay. This is what I don't understand. Moses has gotten, and let's not even talk about all the other things he did, but they get to the Red Sea, and they are, with good reason, like flipping out. Like, we have an army on this side, we got body of water on this side. It's really big. We can't swim across.
Boats.
We need no boats. All right, we don't know how to build boats. We don't know what we're doing. All right, we've been slaves for 400 years. They just tell us to get on the boat. We get on the boat and we do what we're supposed to do. Okay? So they're here, and then the next thing that happens is Moses says, "Hey, don't worry about it. Just watch and believe. See what's going." Yeah, and he takes his staff and he sticks it in the water like a boss. Splits. They walk over on dry ground, and then they have the audacity to say, You're not that great of a leader."
And behind them, at the last moment, whenever all day had passed, and then the Egyptian army is coming in with their chariots, and into the water. After there's like a wall of fire, like protecting them, right?
Yeah.
Then all of them rush in behind them in the river, and then it all just crashes down, destroying like all of like the army of the Egyptians, and then
probably what they heard right as the water comes crashing on them.
And the Pharaoh too, I think.
No, he wasn't in there.
He wasn't in there.
No, he didn't go with his army. Come on, I'm the king. True. I'm not riding with those peasants.
They just thought, cool,
just go get them.
Cool party trick.
Yeah, and they were like, yeah, well,
that's neat.
You going to see what I can do with this deck of cards? All right, I should be the leader.
They're probably like, oh,
no. Nothing? Okay. Yeah,
okay.
Oh, okay.
I felt like it'd been funnier if it would have, if the third time she hit it, it went through. Like instead of on like the 6th or 7th. It's all right. All right. So we'll get it next time. So anyways, Moses, though, classic stand in the gap. So these same people, okay, who don't believe in his leadership, don't want to follow it, you have two big times that I've seen. Okay, so you have the issue with the Ten Commandments. He goes up to get them. While he's gone, the people lose their ever-loving mind and decide they want a new God, even though the other one's up there and they can see him. And they don't want to go up the mountain because they heard him. And so they want to make a new one.
Yeah.
Like you do.
Not what they not what they expected.
No,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's.
They were like, oh, okay, well, oh. They're like that. Okay. Wait. Do it when I'm looking up here. Ready? Oh, okay. There you go.
That's what all of them were doing at the bottom of the mountain. And so they have a great idea, and it's led by Moses' brother, okay? He says, take all your earrings off and all your golden jewelry, and we're going to throw it in this fire. I'm going to melt it down. And I'm going to make a calf out of it. That's what I'm going to do. All right?
A whole calf.
When you get one chance in this life to create, like, the new thing that people are following, the new fad,
Yeah.
who
And
picks
you have
a calf?
you have all of the country's gold, right, at your disposal.
Yeah,
And
it's a
you can
lot of it, I
and
would
you can
think.
craft whatever you want to.
Do you think he
I
thought
imagine I imagine there was some campaigning going on.
yeah, like,
He's like
Raise your hand for.
he's like, everybody's talking about this calf. And they're like, no, I haven't even thought about it. I don't know. Hearing things. Hearing a lot of things. Hearing a lot of things around
you
camp.
definitely don't want to be the guy that doesn't vote for the calf. I'm just going to let you know.
I wouldn't want to be in that position.
I mean, you do what you want to do, but
I mean,
I'm just letting you know.
things get around the camp pretty quick.
I mean, who wants a dove? Seriously? All right. And
I
so
heard some guy say a wolf.
come on. The Israel
wolf?
wolves, really? That doesn't
A
even sound
wolf?
good. Israel calves,
They
okay?
don't even eat wolves.
Yeah, that's
What is
crazy.
that?
Do you think he was like in midway, like sculpting, and he was trying to do a bull, but he ran out of gold?
He couldn't do the horns.
He's
He had
like-
everything but the horns on it.
And he's like, all right, well,
There was a moment
we have
where
a calf.
he's like, behold, the great bull. And everybody's like,
Aaron, that's a calf.
everybody's like,
The guy in the back.
oh, okay. That's well, it seems a little thin. Seems a little bit smaller.
We'll call it a calf. Why don't we call it a calf?
There's not even any horns on it. I don't know.
We like calves.
You said
They turn into
you
bulls.
said bull. It looks like
It's a baby bull.
I don't.
All right. So they just dive into this, and they just really mess up. They're
In the
worshiping.
short span of time that Moses was on the mountain.
Yes,
he
very
couldn't have been
small
on there for
span.
a very long time.
Yeah, and they think he's not coming back. And they start to worship this. Well, Moses comes down. Obviously, God is angry about it, right? I mean, you either worship the Almighty God or Aaron's half-finished bull that he now calls a calf, all right?
He's getting there.
Yeah, and don't worry. We're going to make it a bull one day. And so
Not
they come
my
down.
fault. You guys couldn't get enough gold jewelry out here.
So
I can't finish the thighs.
So God says, listen, I'm about to wipe them out, and I'm going to start over with you, Moses. You by yourself. It still remains good with my covenant with Abraham. I'm going to start over. And then and then Moses, though, okay, I'm sorry. If I'm Moses, I'm thinking, yeah, that's a good idea. They're a pain in my neck, all right? So I'm no longer going to lead them around. I'll just do, new family. But Moses, though, on more than one occasion, he steps into the gap and between the people of Israel and God, and he says, listen, you've got to spare them. You brought them from Egypt. You showed your greatness. We don't want people. And that was always the reasoning that I thought, this is your people, God. And then he always says, listen, we don't want people to talk bad about your name because you took them out, and then they'll say that you just took them out to destroy them, that you aren't good, that you don't have their best at heart. And each time God relents from it. And this is something I think is lost in our society many times. And it's the idea that you're willing to take something on for someone or stand in that gap instead we look for retribution, or we look for revenge, or how do I get back at this person? How do I blast them on social media, or how do I get my last word in? And Moses is very much not like that. I mean, he's not going to be happy when he goes back down the mountain finally, but he stands in the gap here instead of really just being extremely selfish, I guess, with it. And nobody would have blamed him. And history could have been rewritten in the biblical account of, and Moses agreed with God, and God wiped out these people, and Moses created, God's new line. So, I mean, what do you guys see, Ben, Jacob, in society? Do you see this is something that's extremely rare for people just in general to especially God's people?
Yeah,
I mean,
just like stick their neck out for like
yeah, exactly.
Well, I think
people.
we see a lot of we get a lot of loud voices on social media these days, but I think it's become so normal for advocacy for anything. I mean, no matter what that person is standing in the gap for or advocating for, it always sort of takes a nasty turn.
Yeah,
on social media.
It's almost like the loudest person wins. Or
yeah,
so they
yeah,
feel like,
and it's like, oh well, they play dirty, so we're gonna do what they do to get there, and it always takes a nasty turn. So yeah, to see him stand in that position and not allow it to go to that place, that's something I think we could all learn from.
Yeah, and I think it shows Moses being, probably the best example of meekness other than Christ himself in the Bible, is having the power to do something, but then also having the restraint not to.
Yeah.
And so he could have, and Moses has no reason. It's not like that he just sees all these people and, he has reason to have compassion for them, because they have treated him like dirt. I mean, every time something goes wrong, they say,
It's always
"Oh,
Moses.
Did you take us from Egypt where life was good to bring us out here to kill us?" And he's like, "You were slaves for 400 years. I didn't take you from anything." And he's like, "We're here trying to do this now." And every time they complain, and it's let's kill Moses. Let's overthrow Moses.
Then he goes looking for a rock and water.
Yeah. He gets some water. But he goes to God on their behalf over and over. And
he's the only one going to God as well.
Yes,
Like,
he
it
is
doesn't show
God's
any
chosen
signs
vessel.
that there's
Yeah.
anyone
And
else that's devout.
It's also important to note that he he is kind of acting somewhat in defiance of what God said. Like he's saying, like, no, God, we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, he's willing to
So
speak.
you really have to have your ducks in a row if you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
pump the brakes, God.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And I think it's also God showing his belief in Moses as the leader of these people, too. I mean, it's not that, God needs us to remind him of what's just and what's not. And so, yeah, I think that he definitely has a relationship with God to where he's willing to step in and on someone else's behalf and ask for it, even when they don't deserve it. All right. So let's say society very much not like Moses right now, okay? What are some practical ways that we can be more like him day to day? Like, what's some pause moments for us to say, hey, don't do that. Let's pump the brakes or something along those lines, to where we can have an outcome that's much more obviously with Moses, it's much more focused on others rather than the self-centeredness.
Well, I imagine that if, like I said, he's in that gap, and he's sort of having to push back against what God is asking him. I mean, you're going to have a lot of confidence in what you're standing up for.
Yeah.
And so, I think we all go day to day, going to work or going to school, and we hear people say things, and we hear points of view all the time, and we never really know when when you should speak up or when you should step in that gap. But
Yeah.
a big part of that is being firm in your foundation and knowing,
Yeah. Having confidence in what you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, I mean, you might have someone else who also isn't firm in their foundation, but
Right.
you might have somebody who is firm in what they're saying that is in opposition to you, and they might come back with something, and then you not only have you in that situation, not only have you, not made your point, but you've also done the opposite. You've weakened your position by speaking up and not having the confidence and the information and the knowledge to back it up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ben?
I feel like in one way, like, kind of similar to what he was saying, like, when, like, say, like, you know, you have, like, a different viewpoint than someone else, you know, you think that, you know, there's a lot of diversity or a lot of different opinions going around,
right.
you know, right now about everything that's going on in the world. And one way, I guess, just not, I guess, necessarily, like, address to be like, this is wrong and this is stupid, but, like, trying to, like, understand, I guess, some of their perspectives, even though they may be wrong, and willing to just kind of concede a little bit in your own opinions. Kind of sticking your neck out there because of your own pride, like sticking your pride's neck out there in that way.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't get the better of you, and you're willing to concede and understand more.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. So he's having a firm foundation, understanding the other side's point of view. I mean, he knows where the Israelites come from. He knows the type of people they are. You know, he's never disagreed with God on the fact that they complain a lot and things like that. I would say kind of the last piece of that, so have a firm foundation, make sure that, or you see from their perspective, also consider the fact that you don't know everything. And then I would say the last thing is to simply take a breath and relax for a moment. Make sure that you're calm in your response. Make sure that you have yourself together, because I think Moses is a fly-off-the-handle kind of guy. I think in this moment, which he has shown before in his life. So this is something that he is, because if you guys remember, 40 years before he's taken them to this point, he killed a guy in Egypt because he sees him harming one of its kinsmen, and he runs over there and says, I'm gonna make this thing happen now. We're gonna take over the Egyptians now, and he kills the guy, covers him up in sand, and so it shows a very reactionary personality, and that he does something quick without thinking. What we've seen is his time in the wilderness, his time through all of those things, as God's trained him and taught him, hey, take a breath. Look at the situation. I think these are moments that God, when he does this,
he still has mistakes as well.
Yeah.
Throughout the book, you can see him.
And he does that. You'll see him later. When he gets himself kicked out of the where he can't go into the promised land either, is when he disobeys God and bashes the rock with the stick rather than speaking to it as God told him. And so we see this is a constant struggle. But I think when Moses really shows the success in his leadership is those times where he does relax. He allows himself to assess the situation and to approach it in a manner that is better for others and not just what works for him in that moment. And I think that's important to remember as we're going forward and as we're thinking of standing in the gap, is that understand what you believe, know what they believe as well, but then also relax and calmly approach the situation. And I think a lot of times it will allow us to act much more meekly. We don't fire off social media posts. We don't fire off the first word or the last word even, and we allow it to play itself out the way that it needs to. And even though people may not understand that, even in the time that you're being calm and cautious in your reply, I think that history itself shows you vindicated in that, because when there's a difference between just not making a reply and doing anything versus making sure it's one that's calculated.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. If you, I guess on that note, it's important that to understand that, any sort of advocacy, like I was saying before, apologetics or anything like that, these are practices, and you get them wrong a lot, and you hear a lot of loud voices advocating for things, and you see how they get them wrong, whether they went too hard on some point that ended up being like, a hollow stat that just fell through or something. But it's a practice. It's something that you get better at, and managing, understanding how to step back and take a break and see the big picture and understand that you're trying to do something, or you're trying to stand up for something bigger than yourself.
Yeah. A little bit of trial and error in that. You can't constantly fall back on this is just the way I am.
Yeah.
Well, that's not scriptural at all. You can change, when you put the focus in the right place. All right. Well, that does it for our topic today. Let's move on to some viewer questions.
Well, we do actually, before we get all the way into viewer question.
All right, what we got?
We have a topic question.
We have a topic question. Okay,
First
maybe
in
we
a
should
long
make a
time.
topic question segment, but I think this is maybe the only second topic question.
Yeah, I was
We've
gonna
already
say.
gotten- I feel like we've had
I
that
would
before.
probably not do that because
It would just be a really quick segment.
if we got more topic questions, and please give us all the topic questions.
Anything you
Yeah.
can think of.
Yeah.
So how can we determine when God is calling us to stand in the gap? So when can we recognize that situation?
Well, I just want to make a point that very few people will understand standing in the gap like me and DJ being from Texarkana, Texas.
I've already said
right
Texarkana. Can
on
I
the
count for
border.
the second time.
Yeah. Can you do two?
We're
We spent-
originally from New Boston, Texas.
A lot of time
Is that-
Red River, which what's the border?
Texarkana, Texas is actually right beside Texarkana, Arkansas, which is another
All
city.
right.
Yeah, not too
right?
far from
I'll do that
DeKalb, Texas. You
All
want
right.
to just keep going?
Repeat the
Yeah, we're
question.
from New
Ben.
Boston, Texas. Close to Old Boston, Texas.
That
Close
is
to,
true. I don't know. Is Old Boston actually a town?
Yeah, Boston, New York.
Okay, well that.
Did you just say Boston, New York?
Sorry. I'm sorry. I don't count that.
Ben's out.
Nothing's happening.
Is that close to Boston, Massachusetts?
Ooh.
I'm sure I can
Go right
find
over
it
the
somewhere.
border to
I'm
Boston,
from
New York.
Boston. Hey, I'm from Boston.
Wait, hold on.
Hey,
No.
Boston, home of the fresh Boston pizza. Times Square, Central Park here in
Wait,
Boston.
there is a Boston, New York.
Yeah, on
Yeah,
Wikipedia.
probably. Dang it.
All right.
Ben.
There is a Boston, New York.
Okay, mark it.
That. All right.
All right. So give us the question again, Ben. We completely went off
How can we
topic.
determine when God's calling us to stand in the gap?
How can we determine when God is calling us to stand in the gap? I don't know.
I think that's a really hard question.
Yeah.
Because most often I feel like not being quiet, but like you said, I tend to want to give more space before I try to, go after an opposing idea or.
And see, I'm much more
Rebut.
confrontational. We're
Yeah.
very different in that. That's where our genes split. And so the scientific ones, not our real ones. And so
Well, I don't know. Maybe your genes split, but
with Jacob, yeah, he's much more standoffish, let them kind of
Yeah.
develop their side and figure it out and call me. I want to really attack a situation, which actually this is a great point because even now there's a situation now where that Jacob and I are both involved with. Well, Jacob's done a lot of the talking in it, and he's not usually that one. With me, I'm much more of a confrontational one, and so he's actually stood in the gap for me during this because it allows me to stand back because I'm probably more of the hot-headed one of the two of us, and so. In this situation, it's best for me to take a step back and allow it to play out, and he kind of keeps calm more, I guess.
But it's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah.
I mean, for our particular situation, I think I call DJ probably once a day, being like, am I taking is this
the right route and right.
are we doing the right thing? I'm very analytical towards
Yeah.
the approach, and I think everybody should be, whether it's a big thing that's personal to you, or whether I don't know, you're standing up against.
Basically, the answer to your question is we don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately,
like it
I mean,
varies
it's
every
so
time.
hard.
It does.
Yeah, it's such a hard.
It depends
thing
on the
'cause-
situation. It depends on the other party as well, and so there's
because
times.
if you drew a line, I mean, there's so many loud voices online. You would spend all day trying to.
And sometimes you don't know which party needs to be stood in the gap for.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's best to not do anything.
And you're always going to only know if you're telling one side of the story, right? And so I think you've got to understand, the whole thing. And so only the person that's asking the question understands the situation. But I think a lot of times you're going to have to act in a way that is true to Scripture, true to God's nature and His character. And so if the other party is is acting contrary to that, you've got to make sure that on your side, however your response is or however you're willing to stand in the gap, that it doesn't take you away from being close to what God's word says and what position you should be in. Because once you do, then you're not actually standing in the gap from anybody. You are actually, running over to their side. You've jumped across the gap at that point in time. And who knows how big that gap is? It could be as big as the Grand Canyon that's close to Flagstaff, Arizona.
And I wouldn't always be so quick to assume that you are advocating, correct, but you're advocating for the purpose of standing in the gap.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get in that position for I want to win, or I want self-glorification for some, or these people to see me this way, or whatever. I want to appear as though I am someone who does this.
Yeah. And I think that's important to pull from Moses' story is that as you see Moses stand in the gap, and you'll see it if you want another spot, you can go to number 16 to where he stands in the gap during a kind of an uprising about his leadership again, that each time that he stands in the gap, it's not for his own gain. And so it's always for the betterment of all parties and for other people, and taking himself out of the equation. So you'll never see afterwards Moses be lifted up or glorified about it. People know that he's the leader afterwards, but it's God's name that he is concerned about, and God's character that he's concerned about in each situation. And so when it's God who you don't want to defame, and it's God that you don't want his name to take a hit, that's that moment that you know that you have to stand in the gap. And it's not to necessarily, like Jacob's saying, win or get ahead of somebody.
So that's the longest way to say I don't know.
Hopefully you took some of that. All right. We got it?
All right.
We good? You dropped your
Drop
pen,
my
Ben.
pen. I'll
You
just
should
have
pick
to-
it up over there.
I'm scared. It's dark.
It's a long way down there.
Yeah.
Ben, is the bin cam on? Can people see this?
Yeah.
Can people?
I
Can we?
apologize.
Where's your pen at?
It's over here on the ground.
Can we just take a moment?
Maybe I
Can we
put it-
please, everybody, just pause and take a look at the bin?
Look at the
cam?
bin cam. Just look at the greatness.
Kale-
This is trying to.
Kale, can you make that? Can you make the bin cam the main screen here, just so we can? I feel like people need to
Go ahead and get the pen, Ben. Let's just
get the pen, Ben.
hurry up.
Get the
We're gonna
pen,
pause
Ben.
the show. Well, we're not gonna pause the show. It's live. So just go ahead.
Wow.
And get that. Go ahead and get that. Everybody, just watch.
Close up.
Watch what we got here. There we go.
There we go.
I have the pen.
That was
that-
a long.
and he's
whoop,
stuck on the
stuck on the
Ow.
plastic water.
Water
There
bottles,
we
yeah.
go.
water.
And
Plastic water.
the
Okay.
plastic. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't want to drink
The
plastic water.
Yeah, that comes from Crystal Springs, Michigan.
Hashtag remove Ben's arms. Ben, any more questions?
All right.
Any more questions for the topic question segment?
Yeah.
No more
That we
questions
do
for the
every
All
week.
topic
right, we're
set.
gonna move on to viewer questions now. All right.
All right. This is a deep question.
Okay.
As heavy as it gets.
Make sure you speak into the microphone, Ben.
What is the answer to life, the universe, and everything?
4.
Yeah. I usually go with C. It's kind of like a good, like down the board.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why. I actually don't know why. But I know that if you go with the same letter for most of them, how long is the test?
Life, the universe, and everything is how long the test
So
is.
3
Okay.
questions.
So yeah, 3 questions.
Go C.
Yeah, I'd go C.
One of them's gotta be C.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you definitely have a 33 point or 33% chance of getting that one question right. So
Awesome.
Next question, Ben.
you're right, that was deep. I didn't even I almost teared up right there.
That was a lot.
How many
Wow.
countries are there? I figured this would go along with our U.S. cities. Countries,
Okay.
cities.
No, just U.S. cities. There's no U.S. countries.
No, U.S. cities. I figured it'd go along with the
There is
countries.
U.S. countries. There's Texas and everywhere else.
The United States and Texas, yes.
Well,
Not to
no,
mention
okay.
Boston, New York.
From
Right, I used
Boston.
to
Hey, no.
Go Yankees!
It's near Syracuse.
Whoa. What's in
Uh,
Boston? I'm gonna get.
Let's just
I don't
make
know.
it a point,
Wait,
though,
what
that
is
Ben
from
did not
Boston?
mean Boston,
I'm
New
gonna
York.
go to Central
No.
Park.
Let's make sure that is clear, that Ben did not mean Boston, New York. This is not a, Ben got us with
From
his knowledge.
Boston.
It's
I'm
a,
from Boston, New
Ben
York.
meant something else, and Ben said
It's
But I got lucky, and
by
I'm okay
Brooklyn.
with that.
just south of Brooklyn.
it's located on Manhattan Island.
I grew up in Boston, New York.
All right, what we got next, Ben?
Me,
Mhm.
please.
Yeah, who wants some? Good catch.
All right. If you had
Have
to
I
be-
ever not caught one of these? Somebody
Uh,
go back in the tape. That is $1 million question. Go ahead, Ben.
If you had to get one face piercing, what would it be? If you had to, where and what would it be?
Face
right?
piercing?
Yeah,
Piercing in my face?
Yeah, like earring or like nose ring thingy. So
Well-
your question. This isn't my question.
Yeah. No, you're
Appreciate that.
this is gonna bring back some old stuff.
It's coming up.
But I have
Go ahead and
Bubbling to
I
the
have
top.
I've had a face piercing before. It's embarrassing to talk
It
about.
was a very dark time.
Was it during
For
the
our family.
SoundCloud?
What's that?
Was it during the SoundCloud?
It was
phase?
right around the time when I started my SoundCloud account. I hope nobody has been forced to look at that.
I literally scrolled for about 35 minutes the other day, and I still didn't find you.
So it was a pretty simple piercing that I had. I think the guy did it wrong. I think the guy did it wrong. It went up underneath my jaw, and it came out somewhere like right here.
Doesn't
And
seem
the
like a
thing is-
piercing. That seems.
The thing is when you get it, you can't move the whole right side of my face. I couldn't.
Imagine you go through a nerve somewhere.
I couldn't move. Yeah, I couldn't move. So it was like this, and I was like, "Hey
Was it-
guys."
Wasn't it like, was it a hoop? Or was it like, go for
No,
Just
it
a really
was-
big hoop.
Oh, one of those.
It was like
long
a,
ones,
it was like a
okay.
Frankenstein.
Yeah.
There were like bolts on each end.
I couldn't remember. You weren't allowed in the
So
pictures.
that explains it.
So I was like this,
Yeah. It's a,
kind of a rock and roll.
But I've been
phase
wondering,
for
but
me.
that explains everything now.
Yeah,
He had. Yeah.
all the dots connected for you, Ben.
Yep.
You putting the pieces together. Yeah, they
This is
call.
How you are
yeah,
the
that-
way you are.
Yeah, they call. they call
I don't know why it's so funny. That was a dark time.
I guess maybe it's still trauma.
You had your
doesn't know
SoundCloud
it.
account come out. You
He doesn't know how to
yeah.
cope
That was
with
your-
it.
Yeah, it's a dark. It
that
a
was your
dark time
airhead
for me.
phase.
Uh-huh.
That was not healthy for you.
Well, it ruined my music really because you can't do anything. I couldn't. Like water just pour out of the right side of my mouth. I'd be like, "What up, guys?" And I got nothing. I can't. And they'd be like, "Cool piercing," and I'd be like, "Yeah, I know."
You don't understand what it took to
I'd say,
deal
"Yeah,
with this.
I know."
Oh, I guess.
Big.
Are we good? Do I need
I mean, we have more questions.
do what? Slink what? I'm confused.
That mess with my
Alright,
face.
what-
I sound
What about you, DJ?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
French fried taters. Well, okay. What
like piercing. If you had a piercing in your face,
if I had one?
If you had to get one.
If I had to get one,
Yeah.
like, okay, so first of all, I would ask why the person was making me get one. That would be my first question. Why am I here?
oh, but
and
if
why is your one command is for me to get a face piercing? That would probably be my biggest.
but if I
question.
had to get one, I think I'd really like a unicorn horn, just right.
Oh
here.
yeah.
Is it a piercing? Where is that? Where is it?
My horn can pierce the sky. If anybody knows that reference.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of confusing to hear the voice and him because you're not really sure which one is which until you see his
I
mouth.
don't know what you're
not
talking
moving.
about, Ben.
I'm everywhere, Ben.
All
It's
right.
in my head.
Yeah. So
And I'd probably have all my teeth removed.
yeah. All right. Next question.
Unrelated reasons or
I thought you asked about piercings.
all right. So What do you think the first person to hear a parrot like talk thought?
Oh, wow. That is a good question.
Like when it's just asking for a cracker out of nowhere. Like, what you think they're like?
I'm pretty sure
Okay.
they have to
Cursed.
So
be
this
taught to
is
say cracker, don't they?
a whole series of events just came. Sometimes I get these visions of history that come sort of funnel into my head, and I just saw the picture of everything that happened that moment. Obviously, it would have been some sort of king who had this bird. It was a colorful bird.
Yeah, I
so
don't know how they caught it.
they would have had it. And one day, the king usually speaks
trap
in
a parrot, or do you
a king usually speaks in short prose. You
It's
know
like
what I
a
mean? Like
lasso type thing?
like go away from me. That's what they say, stuff like that. It's really short.
All the time.
Do you
That's
shoot a
what
parrot?
kings do. They don't really elaborate. They're like, "Be gone," and then that's the thing. So I imagine one day the king is like sitting there and he's like, "Send him in." And then the little
it's like a
the
cage
jester
drop.
guy comes in and he's like,
A cage for a Or like, do they, like, tie its, like,
and he's
foot? It's like a
juggling,
leash.
and
Like
then
where the elephant
king
thinks it's
says-
small and they
the king
grab it
says,
and they trap it that way.
"He's boring me. Be gone." And then the bird goes, "He's boring me. Be gone. He's boring me. Be gone." And then the king's like, "Oh, okay." And the king's kind of like, the king in my head, he said, "That was weird." And then the bird goes, "That was weird. That was weird." And he's like, "Cool it, bird. Cool it, bird. Cool it, bird." You have to play the bird.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Are you gonna do
You're
it now?
not funny. Go away.
All right, you're not funny. Go away.
What was that?
He laughed. Wait.
Did you hear the thing? What was that?
What was that?
Who defies their king?
Who defies their king?
If it happens one more time, somebody's losing a head.
Lose a head.
I'm at the end of my rope here. You don't know what I deal with.
Where's my rope?
I'm. Oh, so now you're paraphrasing. Who did it? Who did it?
Who let the dogs out?
And scene.
Parrot does its own thing.
That
That's
Kale,
probably how it happened.
Kale is going to clip that up later, and the clip is going to be called "Who Let the Dogs Out." Thank you, Kale.
Yeah. Appreciate that, Kale.
Next question.
Go ahead, Ben. I think we got time for one more.
Got all the questions today.
Rolling through them. See, this is the type of stuff that if you send it in to us, we'll answer. All right?
Yeah, we don't.
We
Yeah.
can. I mean, we can only write so many of our own questions. We need you to do some more.
Mm-hmm.
There's some controversial questions nowadays, man.
There's
Let's-
some doozies.
Let's hear it.
Go.
All right.
Hit us with controversy.
Boom.
Should the USA claim Antarctica
Already has.
and kick all the other countries out?
Didn't we answer this one a long time ago, Ben? Ben, are you
Did
not
we?
keeping up with the
Ben,
questions? I am
no.
fairly certain we have already answered this.
No, I've seen this one for so long, and I haven't asked it because I just saw it and I've just been avoiding it.
it was
There's another one about Antarctica.
it was when Ben was gone. It was the perfect show.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Remember
I was
that
just taking
day?
my question.
Antarctica.
Let's go back to that time.
There was
Let's go back to the time that Ben wasn't here. Can we just have
Wow.
that travel music?
there was such a good segment. Let me just.
This is going to be a great show. Ben's not here today.
Oh, we're back in time. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Do the travel music again.
All right, one more time.
I'm gonna be me
This is a great show. Ben's not here today.
with an accent. Ben's not here today, and I agree. It's
Why'd
the
you give your fucking
West.
accent?
Wait, why are we in
I
the
thought-
Middle Ages?
We're in the
Wait,
back of we're back in time
Ben,
when
you're
you
not
aren't here.
here.
Why are you talking?
But why is Jacob in the Middle
But
Ages?
you're not even here. So what are you doing?
You care. Remember, you're in Utah
You
looking
don't.
at rocks.
You don't know if I had
Rocks
an
are my
accent
life.
or
Rocks
not,
are my love.
right? You don't know if I had an
Peace,
accent
love,
or not.
rocks.
Maybe that day I had an accent. Okay, so let's go. Scene.
How would you
Ben's
even know?
not here. Where's he been? I reckon it's been a day without him. That's Australian.
Okay, what's another question, Ben?
Well, we just got a comment. So,
Okay.
Um,
What's the comment?
hashtag Ben for host.
Oh my gosh.
Who's been for? What's that?
It's me for host. Ben for host.
3 hosts.
No,
There's literally one host
it'd
on
be
this show.
one
right now.
host.
Still me.
You can only have one host.
That'd be really tough.
There's only one person that's got the mug. My name's also on the logo.
It'd be hard to juggle 3 hosts.
There's not 3 hosts.
No,
One
so
host.
we need to. I'm never.
Are we gonna do a
I don't-
question?
I don't like to,
Are you
go
going into a
after
monologue
our
right now?
listeners. I don't
Yeah,
like.
We don't want to do that.
I don't like to attack the people that are supporting the show.
We have so many of them, but we can't afford to lose one.
But if I ever see a comment like that, whoo!
There'll be a computer right here, and we'll take over the moderation.
Wow, we're talking Block City.
Please, no! No! No!
That's what you're gonna be saying when we're twisting your arm.
You ended it before the best one, Libby. I can't.
Please, no! 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 No!
Okay.
Still cut it short.
And so moving on there, that bad comment. I don't mean to come at you.
Strike that from the report.
Back in front of the report. It's a bad comment.
Thank you.
Nobody likes Ben.
The jury will not pay attention to that comment. Thank you.
Basically, what he said.
Objection.
Move
One
to-
host.
Move to strike.
All right. Do we all right, we got to move on. We got to move on. Thank you for all of your questions. All right, so keep sending them in. Ben may or may not write them down, obviously, and we may or may not have answered them already. But hey, we'll continue to have your questions. You make the show, and you take it on whatever route it may crash into. Okay, so but we're gonna go back. We're gonna visit a segment that we've had before, and that is Jake's Take.
Jake's sake!
All right, so, huh?
Are you going to introduce me?
Oh, I forgot we had to do this.
Okay. All right. So, standing 5'11", from born right outside of Redwater, Texas. All right, in the lowly area of T-Town. He's been in military in Petaluma, California.
Everybody wants me to.
And he's traveled far and wide from Springfield, Montana to London, England.
London,
Is
England's not a city.
yeah, I understand.
Bad
that,
introduction.
Ben,
Jake's Take. Libby.
Jake's sake!
It's too much of a delay on it. Okay. Jake's Take. Today, I'm fired up. I got some things that I've been that have really been stewing for
Ben,
a
can I
long
have a
time.
water?
We're starting right off the gate. Actually, going to start with a low note. When I point, you got to hit. No, not that one. You got to hit.
Ain't nobody got time for that!
Jake's Take. You got to say Jake's Take.
Jake's sake!
Okay. That today we're first things first. We're gonna start on a
Can I
low
get a
note.
water, Ben?
We're talking the
Jake's
we're gonna hit on the first topic, which is the coronavirus cure. All right, we're starting on a low
hot
note
topic.
here. We know that there's been some chatter, and us the team
Been
at,
some chatter.
the team at Jake's Take understands that everybody's really been hoping that they would see Energon emerge as the next
Straight from Washington, D.C.
the next product. The problem is we weren't able
Straight from the
to
Pentagon.
get that to stage 2. We got tied up with some FDA red tape,
That's always a shame.
and so basically,
Did they contact you about that?
yeah, they took off. They
I guess
came
they're trying everything right
and they took all of the Energon that I had out of my apartment, which doesn't make any sense. I was just using it. It was just for me, so it wasn't. Like you can't Would if I was drinking coffee, would you take that? If all of a sudden the FDA stopped approving of my coffee? No, Jake's take. We're in Jake's take. That's
You
this
guys
part,
are
that's
not on the
this
same
segment.
wavelength right now.
Jake's sake!
Topic number 2. We're talking 6 Foot Podcast on Twitter. Now everybody's been fired up. This is a big deal for me. So
Finally gets its own platform.
Twitter is the next big thing. Everybody is going to Twitter, and it's basically
You only have like 2 followers.
it's basically like YouTube. If YouTube were clipped into 30-second clips and they were just written out, the videos.
And there were only 190 characters
Yeah,
long.
yeah.
140.
That's
but I
why.
think
Well,
it's
that's why they would be
40. Yeah, I think
clipped.
it's
That's why they would
140.
be clipped down. Obviously, Ben.
It's like
Obviously,
even
Ben.
less than 30 seconds. Then.
So the
Are you still? Did
the
you
thing,
make me a user on that?
I
Or-
no. Well, no. Nobody. quit asking for access to the Twitter account because nobody needs it because I've got it. Okay.
Well, I usually just kind of man a lot of ours and stuff. like that.
Everybody's on the same page
All right.
that I'm taking care of the Twitter account.
All right.
Okay? The Twitter account is me. If you want to and basically that takes me to my third point.
Did you literally
which
post
is
dinosaurs plus aliens
Jake's
equals the
sake!
same thing?
well, I convince me.
Hashtag tiny.
Convince me
dino.
I'm wrong. Convince me I'm wrong.
Hashtag Jacob for host. Hashtag 6FP.
That brings me to my next point.
Jake's sake!
You know the other one? The other one that's on there?
That's Jake's take!
Okay, we need a lot more of these going. Here we go.
That's Jake's take!
Topic number 3 that we really want to hit on today is hashtag Jacob for host. I'm Jacob.
That's the response I wanted.
That's a really good one, Libby.
You
That's
did-
good timing.
You're,
Dude, I
you're
couldn't
supposed.
pick better timing for that.
We're
one.
supposed to be on the same side.
Are you
with
kidding
this.
me?
No, it's Jake.
Thinking about starting a GoFundMe account for Gary Allen Pope.
I think there was some valid points brought up, and you got really nervous. You got
I did not
really
get
nervous.
You
nervous.
could not make eye contact with the
Whenever
camera.
he mentioned
We have literally-
that name. When he mentioned that name, you got nervous. All of a sudden, you were on your heels, and
We lived together for 20
I
years.
was-
You really don't think
I
that
was
you would
sitting
know
there,
if I had
and
a
I was
relative
like-
named Gary Lynn?
my that man said that name, and I looked on your face, and this is what I saw. I saw, "Whoop," and I thought, "Whoop, we're not gonna take this topic any further." You know what I mean?
And
So-
he kept on trying to
But
change
yet you have
topics
taken
too.
it further.
Yeah.
Kept on trying to
Yeah.
shift blame.
That's
I don't
because I don't
know.
know
He got
someone
shaky,
else.
and I don't know his water intake at least doubled after that. So
It's because we have lights.
let's just
Or-
maybe it's something we need to think about. But Jacob for host is the new movement. It's going across the globe. I've had feedback from Beijing, China.
How did you even know what they were saying?
I've had
You do not speak
I've
Mandarin.
had feedback from New York. I've had feedback from
Boston, New
Sacramento,
York.
California. I've had feedback from San Francisco, California.
Springfield,
I've
Montana.
had feedback from Bodega Bay, California. These are really specific northwestern regions.
I don't even know how many you said there, so I'm just gonna add
4. That was 4.
Yeah.
So
7 is his final
I-
answer.
I all of that to say that everybody is hopping on this movement, and you need to pick your side now.
Movement that's stretching from Los Angeles, California, all the way to Daytona,
Because
Florida.
basically, if you think you're just going to stand on the fence, you're going to get left behind because Jacob for host is going across the globe. I'm talking all the way from
No, that's enough cities.
I'm-
That's
well,
enough. Let's
Tallahassee,
let's move
Florida,
it on. Let's
to-
move. Let's get
to,
it going. Let's.
Albuquerque, New Mexico. Really specific regions.
which
and-
is a big one
and
besides
that's-
Santa Fe.
And that's
Mexico.
Jake's take.
That's Jake's take! Jake's sake!
All right. Well, that was great. All right. Thank you, Jacob, for that breakdown of.
She kind of ruined the sound. The sound.
She's doing fine.
It would have been
That's
great.
Jake's take!
Well, now she's doing it, but before she gave me crickets during Jake's take. You don't give
Well,
crickets during Jake's take.
She's hit a few buttons by
You don't
accident.
give crickets during Jake's take.
It wasn't. I doubt that was her intention. Libby, what do you? Is that your intention? She doesn't know. All right.
Well, she's
See, she
she's
doesn't even know where
the-
she is. She
she's
just kind of
doing
showed
this
up.
emoji,
She
right? You can't see her, but she's doing this emoji right now.
She turned into the
I don't.
emoji.
That's not an emoji.
It is. It's
Yeah,
the,
yeah, it is.
yes, it is,
yeah,
right?
It's, yeah.
right. Stop, Ben. It is.
All right.
Stop agreeing with me, Ben. Ugh, so annoying.
I feel like this is what you would say when Ben starts to agree with you. Is it?
Yeah.
No, I can't. She's not.
She's
She's not even paying
I got
attention.
nothing.
All
No,
right.
it's okay. It's okay.
No, don't worry about it.
You got
Don't
it.
worry about it.
So I just want to say before we move on, because, and this isn't easy for me to say, it's sort of an announcement. I think you guys will all be shocked by this, and
Yeah.
maybe some of the audience isn't happy about it, but I've been to a lot of places. I've been to Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Winslow, Sarasota, Tulsa, Ottawa, Oklahoma, Tampa, Panama, Mattawa, Lockalonga, Bangor, Baltimore, Salvador, Amarillo, Tocopilla, Barranquilla, Anfadilla, I'm a killer.
I don't think that last one.
You know, I've
What
been
state
every.
is
I've been
Been everywhere.
I've been everywhere, man.
Man.
I've been everywhere.
It's been everywhere.
Across the deserts there, man. I breathe the mountain air.
Man.
Travel
I've
like
been
you had
every-
your share.
Yeah, I've been everywhere.
Okay. All right, Ben. Who's the winner today?
Well, you were winning until the Johnny Cat.
What I have 7.
No, you had a solid 13.
Oh wow, Ben, you really were counting today.
Wait,
And
actually, no, 14 actually.
okay.
14.
All right, good. How many did you have,
And
Ben?
I had 3.
Ben, did you use numbers? What do you have over there? You got a tallying
yeah,
system?
yeah, I've got tallies.
What type of okay? Are you doing a
Well,
5 cross
Yeah.
tallying
Yeah,
system?
no, 4 and then 5.
And then the slash.
Where does that
Yeah.
5 go? What's the direction it goes? What'd you say?
It-
5.
Would it go left?
from
What would
left
you
to
what would
down
you
right,
call
top
what would you
to
call a
down
top
right.
left to a bottom right movement? What would you call that?
divide? I don't
A
know.
5
tumble right.
5 cross?
If he goes,
That was-
anybody that does it from the right side down to the left, that is ridiculous. You should not be allowed.
Why would
to
you
keep
do this
tallies.
way? No,
Yeah,
you
why
do,
would you
yeah,
do
you
it
do
the
this
other
way.
way?
Like you write.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying anybody that does that
Oh.
doesn't deserve to hold a pen.
Oh, if you did it the other way.
Like doing
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it like going upwards. Like if you go like that
Oh
way.
yeah, wow.
Like
Ooh.
going-
That's gross.
Oh, that would.
That's gross.
All right,
That is a detriment to society.
So Jacob, I know you got more than DJ.
Yep.
But I just couldn't keep track.
well,
So
that's
Yeah.
a shocker, Ben.
So
you had 12.
let's
and
just
then-
let's just snowball. That's not an expression. Let's just make up a number here, right?
snowballs.
I mean, I just kind of started tallying.
I
can do
where
it
I heard
too.
like every
I
other
could say
one.
random things too.
I
Eagles.
could
You
go
had
through them
you
again.
had at least 24.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I
So-
think you beat DJ.
I feel comfortable in saying that that was enough of a lead to say that I won all the ones that have already passed. And I think that we're at a consensus here in the room that that's how we all feel.
All right, well, that's going to bring us to the end of our show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget, if you want shirts like these, all right, we have them for sale on www.sixfeetpod.com. You can look at our merch shirt.
is slightly
Merch
inaccurate.
store, not shirt.
Um,
I like that shirt.
well,
All right.
not really the special guest. He
You
gave
can
me the
also
shirt,
get
so
your
I
I
would.
voted for Ben
But I'm not
shirt. You can
really
get
the
your I
special
smell like
guest.
6 feet shirt. All of those good things, all available on sixfeetpod.com. You can also go watch.
Come on, over
um,
and over and over again.
You can also watch our latest show.
Would you call Andy from the Late Show a special guest?
You can also see our 6 feet clips on there as well, and follow us
Silly.
on our different social medias.
mean,
You can obviously
Would you call
follow
the
us on
band a
Twitter
special
at 6
guest?
feet pod. You can follow us
No,
on
'Cause they're
subscribe on
always
YouTube.
there.
You
always
can
there.
like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram as well. So, with all that being said, I appreciate everything that you guys
They're
have
always
given
there.
us and commented
I'm
in.
always here.
and,
Whenever the day comes, I'm sitting at the chair or I'm calling in. I'm not leaving you guys. I'm here. Hashtag Jacob for host.
All right, let's. Thank you. You guys have
Hashtag
a
Jacob
great
for
night.
host.
All
Hashtag
right.
remove Ben's arms.
Libby, hit that theme music as we're done. You're not going to be the host.
Remove Ben's arms.
There's no way he's gonna
No.
be host. He can't.
You're not going to be the host.
How could I
You're
not be
a
the
host.
host?
We've talked about this. You're the
What
special
am I
guest.
doing that is not
every
as
time-
good or better than what you're doing?
It'd be great if I could be host,
Well,
but
that's-
I
that's-
still would
that
rather.
is-
I would still rather
Stop.
That
DJ.
conversation doesn't
I would
even
still
make
rather
sense.
DJ than
Stop.
Jacob.
All right, look.
What would you do as a host?
I like rocks.
What would you do as a host?
I would
Peace,
do the
love, and
same thing
rocks.
I've been